Hey everybody, Ruth Alsobrook here for your tip of the day. Might be a little long one because I'm going to start at the very beginning and work our way through to the very end. So the first thing I want to do is to create a new folder for my project, and I'm going to call this one MMT. Well, maybe I'll do it correctly for you. I'll call it Alsobrook, my last name, then my first name, underscore 121, underscore the name of the project. That's simple. Then I'll come over to my programs and open up Unity. So I just went to my Windows, Start, and accessed Unity. Unity comes up and says, what do you want to do? Well, I have all these other projects I could open, but I want to create a new project. So new project, same thing. I want to name my project, and then I want to tell Unity where to find that folder I just created. So I select those three little dots, and it says, whoa, hey, what? Where's that folder? Well, it's right here. That's where I want it. Another very important thing, 3D. You need to select 3D. I'm not importing any assets at this time, so I'm just going to select Create. And Unity will place all of that other information that's needed inside of the other folders. So I'm just going to try to bring this down so you can see the whole screen here. One moment. It's going to be a little difficult, but we're going to try it. So the first thing, I don't really care for the services here. It kind of annoys me that they've done that. So I right click on the tab and select Close Tab. That way I just have all the little things that I want. First thing I'm going to do is to create some folders. One folder will be my scene, and another folder will be my textures. You can also call it graphics if you'd like. Nope, not textures, but textures. So I would click in there a second time so I can edit that. And I'm going to create another folder named Materials. I think I'll stop right there because you get how to create the folders. Next on the list is to select File, Save Scene As, and then save it into my Scenes folder. Now the object for materials, models, materials, and textures is to utilize models, materials, and textures. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over to a folder where I have a model and I have a couple of textures. So I'm going to bring those in. And someone said to me, hey, how do I bring these textures into my project? You don't tell us how to do that. Well, I do tell you how to do that. If you read the lecture material and watch the videos, it shows you how to do that. There's several ways to do this. I'm going to start with the textures. I'm going to open up the texture folder. I can right click inside of the texture folder and state import new asset, and then find that texture. Let's see if I can find it this way. So here is a texture. I'm going to double click it. It is imported into the project. The second texture, I'm just going to click and drag it into the textures folder. That is two ways that you can bring your work into your project. Next I'm going to, I think I'm going to create another folder for my model. And open up my models, and I'm going to bring a mushroom object by clicking and dragging into my project. That's simple. So now I have this wonderful mushroom that, oops, let me open up my scene. I can bring this mushroom in and we can zoom in on it. It's not a very clean looking mushroom, but it is a mushroom altogether. So we're going to have to change it because it was built in another program. So we're going to have to rotate it around and make sure that it is, standing straight up as if a mushroom would. I'm going to hold my Alt key down, and then do a normal click. I'm going to zoom around it, check it out. The first thing I notice is it's way below the position size of 0. So that's quite interesting. So I'm just going to raise it up. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm just going to say Game Object Plane and create a plane. And now my plane is above that 0 point. And then I can bring my mushroom down a little onto the plane and have a cute little scene of something. I don't know what. So I now have 2 objects and neither one are textured. Well, I have some textures here. I could just kind of drag the texture on there. That'll work, right? Well, yes, it will. However, you want to make that material, because if you create a material, then you can utilize that on different things. So, one material was created already because we dragged it on there, but that just doesn't look good, so we need to work with the tiling. Tiling is how many repeats of the texture per unit happens. So we're going to work with the tiling, and you can see, you can watch it over here as I change the tiling. The repeats change. That's why you want seamless textures, right? So that's our orange knot texture. So let's right click in here, create material, and we'll call it, which I prefer to name mine material underscore and then what it is. I'm just going to say mushroom. So I select that and material, and over in the inspector window it says, hey, what do you want to do? Well, first I want to add a texture to that material. So I'm going to add the mushroom bullseye texture to that material. I'm going to leave it white, and maybe I'm just looking down in the bottom here. Let me make sure you can see all this. Just looking here, maybe I want to make it a little metallic. Maybe I want to smooth it out. I don't know. So I just play around with that. You're playing around. So once I have that material as I like it, you can add it to your mushroom in several ways. One, I can select the mushroom in the hierarchy and then zoom in. You can also double click and it'll zoom in. And I can drag that material to the object. Now, when you start creating games, you may have lots and lots and lots of objects here, and that could become an issue. So you might want to take your material and drag it to the object within the hierarchy. This may work a little better. It may be cleaner for you. That's a big tip I'm giving you. So you can see that this mushroom's got a nice texture to it all the way underneath, all around it. Great looking thing. It's wonderful. We love it. So we are ready to line up our camera view. So you find out what it is that you want your audience to see, and I think that I'm holding down the Alt key and clicking in the middle mouse. You can just click the middle mouse and move, but I like to make it go in circles. So I'm going to line up that view. I like that view. I think that view's pretty nice. So I'm going to select my main camera. I'm going to go to Game Object, Align with View. When I select that, make sure you watch right here in the camera preview. Align with View. So that means when I select Run, this is Run, folks, Run, which opens up the game view, I'm going to see exactly how I line the scene up. The viewer will see that. Alright, everything's good. I'm going to File, Save Scene. Oops. Must exit, play, save scene, save project, close the project. Make sure that everything I want is within that project folder. By golly, there it is. The assets, there's all my folders. Everything's great. Looks so good. Then I'm going to right click, send to, I'm going to bring it up just in case you can't see that. Right click, send to compressed zipped folder. It makes a compressed zip folder with my name already on it because I created a folder with my name. This is what I would send in for a completed compressed project. That's your tip of the day.